Hey folks, welcome to this edition of Out in the Open. With me is Will Daskal, and he's a long time turkey hunter. Will, you grew up in New York State and did a lot of your turkey hunting up there, and actually as a boy got a chance. I mean, there weren't a lot of turkeys around back then.
No, the interesting thing is that there were virtually no turkeys from the 1940s up through the 1960s, and they disappeared in the early 50s pretty much. And the state undertook a program called Trap and Transfer, where they would get turkeys from other states and other regions, shoot cannon nets over them, trap them alive, and then transfer them to New York into habitat that was suitable for them to thrive in. And one day when I was out bow hunting for deer in the mid-1970s, I saw a bird in the woods, and I said, my God, that's one of the biggest pheasants I've ever seen. We used to have a lot of pheasants, but we never had a wild turkey. But I wasn't sure what it was. And then the following year, I saw coyotes. And we never had coyotes like that before. And then suddenly I realized, turkeys, coyotes, turkeys.
They all go together.
They go together.
And you know, you can't move something in this natural surrounding that we live in and not change the whole scheme of things. And among the natural.
And I knew this was something I wanted to get started in, and there was really no turkey hunting going on. So. When New York was going to pilot the first season, there were no books around. In fact, I think the only book that existed at the time was Kelly's book, The 10th Legion.
And then you eventually wrote one. So.
Right. I actually was very lucky. Just as I told you in the past, I really hooked up with some of the most influential and notable people in fly fishing. The same thing happened with turkey hunting. There was a guy named John Yankee who worked for the New York State Department of Conservation. And I went to a seminar that he was running, and we became friends. I learned a lot about turkeys. I did a lot of research, and Penn Woods here in Pennsylvania was very kind to me. Dick Kirby, a Quaker boy, was very kind to me. Gave me a lot of research material, gave me access to all kinds of illustrative material, and I ended up writing the book. And before you knew it, I was judging turkey calling contests and doing shows, and I went on the circuit. And I was selling the book. I actually have 3 audio tapes that I did at the time, back when tape was real tape. And it was a lot of fun.
So you got the background, and you know a little bit about turkey and turkey hunting through all that great experience. A lot of people out there would like to get into turkey hunting, perhaps. I mean, turkey hunting is probably thing besides archery, deer hunting. Turkey hunting is so much in Pennsylvania. There's so many turkeys everywhere, and people can go out and harvest turkeys. What do you think is for a novice turkey hunter, what's the biggest thing they need to know about turkey?
They have to know that preseason scouting is incredibly important. You cannot simply go into the woods because it's a place you've gone deer hunting or a place that looks as though it has a population of turkeys and expect that you're going to see a turkey. You've got to go out, you have to look for signs, you have to look for scratching. Scratchings are easy to find. They're kind of like a V-shaped travel corridor through the woods, with the leaves have been kicked back. You look for things like feathers, turkey droppings. The hen droppings will look like little snow cone mounds, very small mounds, and the toms are easy to tell. It looks like a cigarette with a little J-hook at the end. And if you find that, you know you're in an area with birds. I do preseason scouting. Absolutely.
Looks like a curly cue.
And when you're out there, I always warn people, when you're scouting, don't use turkey calls to locate turkeys. Because you don't want to make them call shy. So you're going to use locator calls, owl hoots, red-tailed hawk works, crow call will work sometimes. In an area where there are a lot of crows and a lot of farmland, crow calling isn't always going to work. Because they used to hear it.
You're disturbing. You're trying to disturb them. They answer to anything that's unusual. Even if some people have noticed that turkeys have answered when they got up close to what they were doing and slammed the car door.
Well, actually, that happened to me the first time I went out hunting. And the other thing about turkey hunting is it's probably the most exciting form of hunting that there is. If you go deer hunting, you may see a deer for 4 or 5 seconds. Suddenly it materializes, you're lining up the shot, you take the shot, and that's it. I've called birds in where I've actually seen the bird for 4.5 hours. And the bird locked up, and then I have to wait till he gets out of sight, change position, give him a different call from a different location, make him want to come in, and it's a whole different ball game. And you just, it's the most exciting thing that you can do. And to take one with a bow is probably the ultimate in hunting.
One thing that people have to have when they go out turkey hunting, of course, is good camo. And you need to have a vest where you can put all your stuff.
This is new for me, by the way. It's only the second year I'm using this because I'm old tradition, old school. I've been carrying bags, and everything that I need fits into this.
Yep.
Then I can just carry it in.
And you've got to have the seat.
Absolutely.
You have to have a seat of some sort, but the seat is under there.
Right.
And that's very, very important. And I guess what I was really getting at even a little bit.
Carries a water bottle.
Even a water bottle.
Camouflage.
Yeah. And that makes my point. Turkey have tremendous eyesight. So if you move, I don't know, do they see in color? They only see two colors or something.
They see in color. They have the ability to discriminate the slightest movement.
Oh, their eyesight's phenomenal.
And their hearing is phenomenal also. And when you consider, turkeys have both monocular and binocular vision. And because the head is moving constantly, they can take in almost 270 degrees. So even the slightest movement, and they have the ability to know when something is out of place in their normal environment. So you really have to get in a good calling position, set up, and once you start calling, don't move. When I'm using calls, friction calls that require manipulation, I usually do it below my legs or behind the knee or something like that so they can't see the movement of my hand. If you get to the point where you know that the bird has started coming in and you can hear the call is getting louder and louder, I go strictly to a mouth call. If I can see the bird, that bird can see me, so you don't want to move.
And you can usually, talking about moving and not being able to move and the need to move or want to move, you can usually tell a turkey hunter about the second week of the season. And I'm going to ask you to hold very still. Look at the camera. Because right here, you see this little hole in his glasses right here? Well, right back there on the bridge of his nose can be all bitten up by bugs, because even though you put this mask on and only your glasses are out and you've got those no-see-ums, they somehow find that one spot and they just eat and eat and eat, and you can't move, you can't do anything.
Well, what I usually do is I don't spray my body down with insect repellent. I'll spray my ankles, my cuffs, and I will spray my hat completely.
Me too. That's what I do.
And it's with DEET.
They still come in. I wear glasses when I'm hunting, and that's what I notice. That's where they go, right for that little spot.
Part of the price.
We're going to get into some calls and calling and how you should call and those kinds of things after these brief messages, so don't go away.